What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode number 176 of Park to Prem here with Town Law Town. Today you join us with 3 games left of the league season. The aim, to go unbeaten. Can we do it? We are so close, so close to doing it. 35 games, 29 wins, 6 draws. However, the first game of today's episode, one of the toughest fixtures of the year, we're away from home against Chelsea, and I'm a little bit nervous for it. Now, yeah, I didn't really, I'll be honest with you, I didn't really know how to do today's episode in terms of planning it. I figured that we want to see if we go unbeaten. I didn't want to come back for the FA Cup game having gone unbeaten and it all be a little bit anticlimactic. Obviously, there is a possibility that we lose to Chelsea here. The league table is wrapped up and suddenly the Sheffield United and Norwich games just suddenly aren't as interesting. The plan to get around that, I will be honest, is if we bottle the first game, I am simply going to add a long black screen to the end of this video, make it a lot longer than it actually is, and, well, you won't be able to judge basically from the length of this video if we manage to do it. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, if you're watching this now, let's see how we get on, shall we? We are going to be taking on Chelsea in the first game. Since your last day, we've played a lot of games, as you already know from what I've just said. We are in the FA Cup final, so that will be tomorrow's episode, as well as an end-of-season recap. And, well, you can see here, since you were last here when we lost to Dortmund, also heartbreakingly, we've done pretty well all in all. I could go through all of these games, but to be honest, the league title was wrapped up very quickly. The first of these games, a 4-1 win against Birmingham. Great stuff. Cancino with a hat-trick. The next game against Sheffield Wednesday in the FA Cup. Sheffield Wednesday, a League One side. A very kind draw, in truth, for the quarter-final. A comfortable little win. Shvetsov and Frost with goals either side at half-time. Let us march on our merry way. I didn't hold back against Sheffield Wednesday, which you could argue was a little bit cruel of me. But no, we went with a full-strength team for that game. And well, in the next game against Tottenham, we did officially wrap up the league title. It was a convincing 5-1 win. Great stuff. We had a big party. Goals galore, really. They all came in a pretty tight space of time, within about 20 minutes either side of half-time. Cancino with 2 really good goals. He's been in good goal-scoring form. He's been slowly but surely climbing up the top goal-scorer ranks in the Premier League, bizarrely. But yeah, he got 2 in this game. Mike Frost then grabbed 1 at half-time, 3-0 up. The celebrations kind of began. I mean, they'd already begun because the league has been wrapped up for a long time, theoretically, but making it mathematically possible in style was nice. Norman got a goal for us. Then Claudio Holman getting a goal as well. He's had a few, actually, in recent games. Great to see him getting on the score sheet. The Argentine, of course, did miss the previous episode's match against Dortmund. Unfortunately, they did score a late consolation via Alan Baxter. Not a bad finish by him in the one-on-one, but the game was done. The result was wrapped up, and we went out. And, well, we just had a celebration that night. It was a lovely time to win another Premier League. 3 in a row. That is a fairly elusive thing. That is something that not many teams have done in the history of the Premier League. The three-peat. I will hold my hands up and admit that the fact that Man City managed to 5-peat in this save games kind of save period does somewhat diminish from the achievement of 3 in a row. But make no mistake, that is a very impressive little feat that we've managed there. And, well, we didn't hold off the gas. I wanted to, get the most points, to get the record unbeaten season. I want to be as good as the Arsenal Invincibles. And to be fair, we did quite well. In the next couple of games, we beat Newcastle 2-0. Frost and Cancino with the goals in this one. The first for Frost, you can see from the penalty spot. Cancino not long after. A 0-0 draw against West Brom was a little bit nervy, especially with an unbeaten run in the balance. The longer it lasted at 0-0, you wondered if they were going to grab a late goal in a smash and grab. It didn't happen. So we lived to fight another day. We then took on Brighton in the FA Cup semi-final. A Brighton side who, to be honest, have done very well this year. Their pre-season billing was 10th place. At one point they were challenging right at the very top of the Premier League. You can see with 3 games left, it's incredibly tight at the top, but right now they sit in 7th. In this game here, it was a very convincing win, however, 4-0. And it was never really in doubt. Claudio Holman got us off to a flyer. As I said, he's been getting in some good goal-scoring form. It was lovely to see him score here. Steve Norman then grabbed 1 for us in the 60th minute, right on the hour mark. And, well, it was his partner in crime for the international stage that helped us out later on in this game. Dylan Turnbull with 2, a player who I know for many is a fan favourite. He's certainly one of my favourites, and whilst he isn't a first-team regular and a super consistent starter, make no mistake, he's come in, he's had an impact this year, certainly more than previous years, and his 2 goals in this game made sure of it, and through to the FA Cup in style we went. 4-0. Great stuff there, and we are going to be playing Arsenal in the final. And when you look at previous years, we've finished runners-up twice, winners once. I want to win the FA Cup again. Manchester City, not the team standing in our way, fortunately. However, it is the team actually who, well, since ourselves and Man City won it over the last 5 years, Arsenal were the previous winners. So we've got them. They're going to hope, I suppose, to add to their FA Cup collection. As I already said, that'll be tomorrow's episode. And well, most recently we took on Everton. A 4-1 win here. Holman with 2. Maticevic with a free kick as well. You love to see it. What an incredible player Ilya Maticevic has turned out to be. He is now labelled as world class. I think you can make a pretty good argument that he's a world-class player. A super versatile player, can play so many positions really, really well. Still labelled as a winger, he's a centre mid. He is a centre mid. No one is going to convince me otherwise. The media can keep calling him a winger. I mean, it's just not true. It's just not true. But anyway, let's get into today's episode, shall we? As I said, this is a bit of a weird one. I want to go unbeaten. I've not gone unbeaten in a Premier League season in a very long time in Football Manager. This may well be our best chance ever to do it. Just worth noting, in the top goal-scoring charts, we have the top 3 players right now. Claudio Cancino with 13 is in third. That's a very low goal-scoring tally for a Premier League season, but I suppose it's just been a low-scoring season with lots of goals shared around. You can see Kaiser up there in the average ratings, but Mejbri currently ahead of him. In terms of assists, Maticevic and Stevie Norman, the top 2 assisters. I suppose when you score as many goals as we do, that's not entirely surprising. But anyway, we're going to be taking on Chelsea today. They have, well, not had the greatest of seasons. Frank Lampard's still their manager. They are currently hunting down a Premier League spot. Well, not a Premier League spot, a Champions League spot. Let's try and poop on their party today. And well, they'll be trying to do the same, I guess, in reverse. Unfortunately for us, you may have noticed Shvetsov not scoring many goals as of late. Very, very unfortunate injury. He fractured some ribs in an international against Estonia and was out for 4 weeks. It's now been just over a month and he's still very much not quite there yet. There is part of me that wants to start him, but I think for today's game we're going to go with Norman, Frost and Cancina up top as a trio. I will be honest and say that if you were to look at these players purely objectively by their attributes, these are probably the 3 players that should be starting this game for us. So I'm kind of excited to see how they get on. There is actually part of me that wants to play Norman down the middle and then Frost and Cancina either side. Is that something I want to try today? You know what, we've experimented a little bit throughout this season. Why not do a little bit more experimentation? Now the good news for us is Vincent is back, so he can come in for Sammy Tunnell. Aurelio can come back in for Deacon. We have been rotating the team just a little bit, particularly the wing-backs. They get quite tired with the system that we play. Sammy Tunnell, obviously coming back from a fairly long-term injury that he suffered previously, the damaged kneecap, which was back in March. It's been a month and a half since then. Back in the team, back playing, nice to have him there. He's developed superbly. Craig Austin, a player who I'm still trying to find room to get him into the first team. I mean, he started 15 games this year. The reality is that we have rotated the team a hell of a lot throughout this season. You can see even the players who really haven't played that many have still played a decent amount. In fact, Andre on 14 appearances really looks a bit odd. Just due to the lack of appearances he's made. He has unfortunately been injured. You can see, has had a fitness test, can only play half an hour. Just figured, for the sake of things, we'll keep him out of the matchday squad, keep him recovering. And, well, Maticevic and Holman have kind of locked down the centre mid positions this year. I will say now they have surpassed my expectations, particularly Holman as of late has really, really stepped things up. But, I mean, as is indicated, I suppose, by the fact that Maticevic has the second highest number of assists, we are looking pretty good in the midfield. Anyway, I will close the league table and the fixtures. They are left open from when I was streaming over on Twitch with Monopoly, where things have been getting a little bit dramatic. We will be live at 5 PM today with that, but we have to keep our focus on the here and now with Chelsea. We're not in the Serie B playoffs in this universe. We are going for an unbeaten Premier League season. So yes, 3 matches potentially coming live today. Let's do this. Let's go unbeaten. Oh, that's not good, is it? The first shot of the game for Chelsea. And it's a header. And it's Zidane with it. Not the Zidane that's usually a thorn in our side. Not the Zidane of Dortmund. It is the Zidane, the centre-back from Real Madrid, if I'm not mistaken, of all places. Free header. Heads it past Morrigan. That's not the start we wanted. Let's get a little bit shouty, shall we? Maticevic picking up the play here. Goes all the way back to Cesar. Besides them scoring, Chelsea really haven't done a lot, and it was a set piece. Always a little bit wary of us giving the ball away in a compromising position, but the good news is we're playing it out of harm's way, and hopefully we're going to be on our way upwards and, well, forwards towards the Chelsea goal. As much as I like watching us play it around the back like this, I want to see some attacking intent, and, well, Vincent inside to Kaiser, switches it over to Matheus Aurelio. Cancina on ahead. Can he tuck it away? Can he pull it across? He can. That is a lovely, lovely goal. Superb passing play. Obviously, we've changed things up a little bit throughout this season. I feel like the switch to 2 false nines has worked superbly. I really like the movement that they do. The 2 false nines will very frequently drop into this little bit of space and then attack forward, like you saw Cancina do there, and then the pass to pull it across is something that you don't see nearly enough players do in Football Manager. As simple as that looks, that's almost a sign of quality, I feel like, in the Football Manager match engine when players are unselfish like that. Anyway, could we add another? We were behind, we're now level. Could we pull ahead? Ball in Cancina on the volley, narrowly over the bar. I don't think the keeper would have got to it had it been on target, but unfortunately for us, it was not. I mean, they've had one shot all game. The fact it's 1-1 is a tiny bit scary. I do feel like this is that's offside, is it? It must be. It is. The linesman's flag is up. I was just going to say, out of our remaining 3 games, whilst the Sheffield United game is a game to be fearful of, Chelsea definitely have the best quality of any of the remaining teams. It would obviously be quite typical of Football Manager, I suppose, if despite playing so well against Chelsea and winning this game, we go on to bottle it against one of the 2 quote-unquote easier games that we have remaining. Anyway, it's been a super dominant display here. Frost has been a little bit quiet, but Cancina's picked up an injury. I'm going to play things safe here. So we're going to bring Shvetsov into the middle. He's coming back. Good chance for him to build up some match fitness. And you know what? I'm going to bring in Benny Boy in for Holman. I will say now, Ben, and I'm sorry, Ben, I'm just calling you Ben from now on. He hit 20 vision before he turned 19. He was an 18-year-old with 20 vision and these technicals. What an incredible player. A little bit concerned perhaps that his potential has been hit, but make no mistake, he has really forced himself into being a squad player as this season has cracked on. I mean, he started at 10 Premier League games, which is a pretty good indicator as they have a set piece. Oh my word. Can you imagine if we lost the unbeaten run to 2 set-piece headers with their only 2 shots of the game? 20 minutes left. I want the winner here. There is part of me that wants to go on the front foot and wants to attack. I'm going to take off Frost and bring in Turnbull. So it is now Norman, Shvetsov, Turnbull as a trio up front. That is a sight and a half as Norman whips in. Maticevic is there, and Ilya, with 15 minutes left, puts us ahead. And as nice as the win would be, what I really care about is the fact that makes the chances of us losing this game that little bit smaller. 7th goal of the season for Maticevic. Breaks through, free header, just completely unmarked. He is a giant of a man. And well, he's managed to win the ball there and head it goalwards. And Chelsea, absolutely no chance. The game can continue to play out the way it was now. Chelsea with just, I was going to say 1 shot on target that went in. They have now just had a second, but 2-1, one last highlight. Are they going to try and be party poopers, or are we about to pull ahead further? Matheus Aurelio, Maticevic does give the ball away. Millet bringing it forward. If they score now, there is about 3.5 minutes for them to do something. Morrigan needs to make a save and can't. Mail Millet. What an insane goal by him up front. I mean, how good is he? I'm curious now. I mean, he's a very, very good finisher and he's very, very quick and technically gifted. You saw that there, didn't you? Cut it in from the left-hand side. Who was this? McCassie. McCassie just left on his buttocks, told to sit down. And he puts it right into the bottom corner. I don't think you can blame Morrigan too much. The good news is, it's not going to matter. 2-2, it's going to finish. The unbeaten run goes on. Norman picks up man of the match for a goal and an assist. And whilst it wasn't the most convincing of results, and it would have been lovely to win and not concede that last-minute goal, ultimately, it's 2-2, we're unbeaten, and we live to fight another day on this unbeaten run. And well, with that in mind, we're going to hop forward to the very next game. It's going to be Sheffield United at home. It's in a week's time. I'm nervous. Don't go anywhere. Okay, folks, 1 down, 2 to go. Sheffield United, the next team standing in our way between an unbeaten season and, well, not an unbeaten season. They are currently in 5th. Their media prediction was 12th, so they've had a crazy season, to be fair to them. Ramadani, their key player, a player we have got to be a little fearful of, a player who has popped up once or twice on my radar as a player who could have been very, very good. You can see long established at Fiorentina in his first Premier League season, 12 goals to his name. So, yeah, he's in pursuit of Cancina, I suppose, for top goal scorer. So, hopefully Cancina's record can be maintained. Of course, he was injured in the last game. The good news is he's back, if not quite fit, to start today's game. So we're going to have to do a little bit of a shuffle here. Shvetsov's going to come in down the middle. I'm going to play Norman and Frost at either side. Mateus Aurelio unfortunately picked up an injury. He is out for 4 to 12 days, so may well miss the end of the season. Kevin Deacon going to come in there. And off the back of the last game where McCassie had that absolute howler, you know what? We're going to give Austin the nod. He's got his first goal for England. He's 20 years old, an incredible player. And I feel like we just need to give him game time to help him develop. And alongside Cesar, two of the best centre-backs I think you could expect to see at any team in Football Manager, to be honest. Particularly Cesar here. Just nuts how well-rounded he is. Hopefully, they are going to be at their best for today's game. Meanwhile, we look at the likes of Holman and Matasevic to do the job in midfield. Kaiser in the centre. And I guess a few eyes are going to be on Shvetsov. Away and out through injury the last couple of games. Came on off the bench but didn't really have an impact previously. With Cancina kind of recovering still from his little knock. It opens up the door for Andre to come in. He's going to want to add to his goal scoring tally for the year. And well, whilst he's not quite matched the 30 plus goals he got last season, I definitely feel like you have to look at it through the lens of realising actually this year we changed the system. We went with 3 strikers. You know, it's really changed the focus of the attack. It's a lot more spread. It's a little bit less of a one-man show, which I think is one of the critical reasons behind our success last year. If teams were able to shut down Shvetsov, which was possible, we just never really found, you know, an alternative way through. But with this new system with the 3 strikers also free-flowing, you can't really contain them all for 90 minutes. Or rather, you can try. It just won't go very well for you usually. I say all of this. Sheffield United containing them for the first half. It's 0-0. That is not a classic thus far in this game. 3 shots saved by Morrigan, but yeah, we need a better showing in the second half. And in fact, I'm going to get shouty straight after half-time. I want the players refocused. I want us, well, eyes on the prize really. The prize has been won. The real prize though is that unbeaten season. If we can win this game and the game against Norwich, we would be on course for a 100-point season. Any kind of slip up and that record escapes us. Stretsov's been poor today, so I'm going to take him off. I'm also going to bring in Remy Chalet on this occasion for Matasevic. I think we'll hold on to our last sub for now. There is part of me that wants to go on attacking here. There is part of me that wants to go for the 100 points. As nice as an unbeaten season would be, I'd like the 100 points as well. And we're gonna gamble it. Could stick, could twist. I am twisting an arm and a leg. And while Remy Chalet on off the bench, forward to Vincent. Players queuing up, including Holman, who finds himself far forward. Could be a chance for a counter-attack now. Ramadani, the player we've just talked about, the Italian, breaking forward in the wide areas. Not really anyone in support. Goes on his lonesome. Could look to pull it back. Well, you thought for a second he was going to do it all on his own. Ran so far up the pitch. Fortunately for us, Morgan was alive to it. 10 minutes left to save us from a 0-0. And at this point, I'm glad it was a triple header, because this second game has been a bit poor. And while Austin, of course he gets injured. We've just bigged him up. We've just talked about how excited we are about his development. He's had to go off the pitch. 4 minutes for us to get a winner. There's 2 minutes left. Could we get a goal here? A goal here and a win in the final game would get us to 100 points. The ball whipped in. It's headed clear. Oh, if they hit us on the counter now. Can you imagine the gut punch? Can you imagine the gut punch? Ramadani's through. Morrigan with the save. That is as good as a goal as far as I'm concerned. And, well, there's no time left, surely. Long throw launched forward. They may look to catch us on the break. We are definitely more open at the back. It's booted into row Z. One long throw, maybe. We've played 25 seconds overtime. I don't think the win is here for us to take, but we're going to try. Ball cleared away as far as Kaiser. Could we get a goal? Is there a goal on the cards? Vincent. Players queuing up. This is the last chance. It's headed clear. Norman whipping it in back post. Frost is under it. Chalet to Deacon. Kevin Deacon. Someone have a shot here. Someone do something. Vincent. Norman. Lovely build-up play. Is there an end product? It's blocked. It's to Norman. It's to Holman. There's an air of desperation here. Can someone get the goal for the win? It's whipped in. Frost is there! And Mike Frost, over a minute over the added time allotted, has found the back of the net. The German with his 22nd of the season, the 100-point season, and it is still on. Oh, it's gone all the way down to the wire in this game here. Literally the last kick of the game, and finally, after, well, a game of complete dominance, if not a great number of chances, we find our way through. Mike Frost, he's been worth the £300 million. 97th minute winner, Morrigan player of the match as well. He put in some huge stops in that game when they hit us on the break. He's the reason that we were able to win that game. And as I said, we can still do it. We can still get the 100-point season. Our final game of the year is going to be against Norwich City. Now, this Norwich City, an established Premier League team in this save game. However, they're in the relegation zone and they have to win their final game with Scotty Parker as their manager. Otherwise, they will be relegated for the first time in the entire duration of this save, which is kind of crazy to think about. Their previous worst finish was 16th. They are, well, down but not quite out yet. We could be about to deliver the killing blow. And well, with all that in mind, let's go forward. One last game. Can we get to 100 points? Can we go unbeaten for the year? We're about to find out. Okay, guys, so we are back, and it all comes down to this. Away from home at Carrow Road, Tower Town v Norwich. Two things, I suppose, we're targeting at this point. A 100-point season, a win would be enough. The unbeaten season, anything other than a loss would be enough. And we should be doing it in this game. Under any other circumstances, I'd go into this game so confident. But Norwich are playing for their lives. It's going to be them or Birmingham going down. And I am just a little bit nervous about it all. You can see Cancina got a little bit of an injury. Probably shouldn't even be on the bench, to be honest. So we'll bring in Hemingway, of course, the former Norwich man. I mean, that could be in the script, couldn't it, for him to come on and score. Aurelio as well, just not really worth risking ahead of the Champions League, the FA Cup. Craig Austin as well is out for a few weeks. He's not going to be available for the next game either, which is against Arsenal in 6 days' time. But yeah, this is the team we're going to go with. I am not holding back. We are going absolutely full strength. This is the squad that I think can do it for us. Let's see if they can do it for us. And I was thinking back, I've been trying to recall when I last did an unbeaten season in Football Manager in the Premier League. And I actually don't think I've managed to do it in a YouTube save since FC United and Manchester on FM13. It was the second series ever on my channel. And we did do an unbeaten season with them. And what actually wasn't playing a too dissimilar system to what we were playing last year. But I feel like Football Manager's got harder during the unbeaten season. The overall quality, I think, of the Premier League especially has improved. So if we could do it here, not only would it be the first time in 7 years we go unbeaten, it would be the first time in a long time that I can say, yes, I've done absolutely everything there is to do. I mean, here's the thing at Tower. Right now, we're Champions League winners, 3 times Premier League winners. We've won the League Cup, we've won the FA Cup. We've got the World Club Championship coming up this summer that we're going to be in. I do feel like we're getting towards a point now where if we go unbeaten in the league here and get 100 points, you kind of have to look at it and go, you know what? We've almost done everything that there is to achieve. And is it about just having one last season of just trying to do absolutely everything that we can? Do we draw a line in the sand potentially as soon as next season and say this is the last season, let's end on a high, but this is our last chance to win the Champions League, to win another Premier League, and perhaps apply that a layer of additional pressure on ourselves? I'm not entirely sure yet. It's something I've been thinking about a lot, but I do look at what we've achieved here at Tower Town, and I do feel like we are hitting a point where you kind of look at it and go, is there that much left to achieve here after 18 seasons? I mean, that's a long time for any Football Manager save game, let's be honest. But anyway, we want the 100 points. We're on the attack. Holman's efforts, but Matasevic, narrowly over the crossbar. His effort, I was going to say from range. It wasn't from that far out, but just couldn't keep it down, unfortunately. I will say in this game, Norwich are already giving us more of a game than Chelsea did. Oh my word. That was nervy. That may even go to a goal line technology to check that. The back pass to Morrigan nearly backfired spectacularly. We were let off the hook, however. Pressing high up the pitch and forcing Norwich to go all the way back. They have to win this game. A draw is not enough for them to go above Birmingham, so there is going to be a pressure on them to attack us. Can we use that to our advantages? Troy Parrott, the ball is attempted to be played through to him. It's read superbly. Cesar gives it wide to Deacon, who gives it to Frost, and going all the way back to Cesar. They've got their own little game going on, that trio. in the wide areas. Now with Kaiser, could look to switch the play here. Gives it to Holman. He passes it over to Deacon. Lovely build-up play. Really nice passing play. Can there be an end product? Deacon puts it in Shvetsov for his 40th of the season. 4-0. And he's going to go and celebrate with the fans in the corner. And quite rightly too. Deacon with the assist. It's taken us 13 minutes to break the deadlock. Can we activate cruise control? Can we enjoy the last 90 minutes of football here of this season? I'm certainly hoping so, of course. Norwich played host to Shvetsov's double hat-trick half a decade ago. A game which I feel like will go down in memory as one of Shvetsov's finest hours. So close to beating that Premier League record for most goals in a game. Shvetsov, I think, was it a double hat-trick in the space of 20 minutes? It was an insane game, and that was the same season, if I'm not mistaken, that we got relegated from the Premier League, which, actually, now I think about it, is 7 or 8 seasons ago, I want to say. It feels like a lifetime ago. It's been so long, but yeah, for me, that was Shvetsov's peak in a weird way, and well, I don't think we can expect nor anticipate him to match it here. But we can try, as Norman keeps the ball in superbly. Unfortunately, he is dispossessed, but he wins it back himself. Dogged determination from Norman. Attempted range from effort. Oh my word, Ilya. Oh my word. Why would you try that? Well, I'll tell you why he's tried it. Because he can do it. What an insane long shot this is. I almost rolled my eyes a little when Norman tried the initial long-range effort, but it fell into the path of Matasevic, who was approaching it like a train. And he just hits it, and it just stays hit. It flies into that top right corner. Keeper with absolutely no chance, bless him. And at 2 goals up, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm a little nervous about the fact that Norwich have a chance here, potentially. Deacon, McCassie, get it away. A clean sheet for us here, by the way. Could still see Morgan win the Golden Gloves award. I believe Alvin John of Manchester United is currently 1 clean sheet ahead. So we need to keep a clean sheet here if we can. And also, need Manchester United not to keep a clean sheet, I suppose. Both things pretty unlikely. But we can dream about it. We can hope we can do it for Morgan. Regardless of a clean sheet here today or not, he won't surpass last year's record number of clean sheets in a season of 23. Although, if I'm not mistaken, it would be 22 this season if we kept them shut out, Norwich City. So I suppose that's something to aim towards, although it feels a little small fry, I suppose, when you compare it to the other achievements we're gunning for today. Frost bringing it forward. Shvetsov's in the middle, takes a touch, hits it, it's blocked. Back to Frost, crunching tackle. And apparently Mike Frost was offside. Apparently, I say that. That was a weird end to the highlight. For a second I thought a penalty was happening. I'm going to tell the players I'm not happy. I'm a tough man to please. Kaiser's picked up a little injury, so we're going to take him off and bring in Andre to play the deep line playmaker role. And you know what? I'm going to bring in Hemingway for Stevie Norman. I'm going to bring on the former Norwich man, signed for £41 million in January. A player many are calling the future of English football alongside the likes of Turnbull and Norman. I wonder if he can lace up his goal-scoring boots. We'll keep an eye on him. He's going to be playing in the left forward position. Vincent with a crunching tackle. Going to leave him out of position though. Cronin looking to bring it forward here for Norwich. Options in the middle. Andre slides. Can't tackle it. Troy Parrott with an effort. And he eventually hauls down Cesar. That was a bit mean. I'm trying to think now about whether or not I want more goals or if I'm quite content settling for the clean sheet to maybe get the record for the season. I mean, we did it last year. We can't beat last year's record for most clean sheets. Why worry about it? Why worry about something that's so insignificant? We're about to go unbeaten. We're about to potentially get to 100 points. I feel like any other achievements are just kind of small fry. Anyway, Frost in the wide area. Inside to Matasevic. Inside to Kevin Deacon. Puts it in. Shvetsov, you felt was going to just pull the trigger and score, and it was all going to be really arbitrary. Unfortunately, not bad defending at all by Norwich. I mean, this could have been a lot more embarrassing for them. There's been a lot of opportunities in this game coming our way. Just not really been able to take those chances when they've landed in our lap. 22 minutes left. Morrigan to McCassie. Options on the left. It's Vincent. Vincent gets the ball out of his feet. Players queuing up in the middle. Pulls it back to Andre. Now back to Roger McCassie. He looks to switch over to Deacon, who's been in a lot of advanced areas, and while he could look to play in Frost, he does indeed. Frost, though, off the target there. That was merciful by the German. You kind of anticipate him just smashing it into the bottom corner in that situation, but unable to do so on that occasion. Got one last sub in our locker. You know what? I'm going to bring in Remy Chillet, and we're going to bring him in for Vincent. We are going to end this game with 2 homegrown players on the pitch. It's not Turnbull, which I'm sure the Turnbull Appreciation Society will not be happy about. But to have both Sami Tunnell and Matasevic on the pitch for this game that is, well, at this point, looking likely to see us go unbeaten. Not a bad achievement, really, to have 3 players who came through our academy over the last 18 years actually in the match squad, as Hemingway tucks it in the bottom corner. I don't know how that squeezed in. That looked like a goalkeeping howler, to be honest. But 3-0, a goal against his former club. I appreciate him celebrating in front of the fans. I appreciate the bad manners there. There's no room for sentiment. There's no room for kindness. Tucks it in. Cousins 100% has to do better there. If that's Morrigan, there's a million comments telling me that he needs to be dropped and that he's the worst goalkeeper ever seen in Football Manager. But unfortunately for Norwich, they are going to be going down. They are going to be going down for the first time in 18 years, which is mad, really. At one point, they were a regular fixture of kind of the Europa League and the... What's the other European competition called? The more rubbish Europa League that's been introduced. The third competition. You know the one. It's stupid. Anyway, Frost in the wide areas. Options in the middle. Pulls it back. Matasevic for a second goal of the game. Makes it 4-0. We're doing this in style now. We're not even worrying about the clean sheets. Matasevic gets his second from range. Could he end up with a hat-trick of long shots? I mean, if he's going to do it, time's against him. Frost, though, pulls across so many players out of position. There's a massive channel of space opened up. First time finished by Matasevic. Not hit with the same power as his first goal, but nevertheless, lovely, lovely goal. Oh, you love to see. What an immense game. What an immense performance. We are going to go and do it with style. We are going unbeaten. We keep a clean sheet. We score 4. And we also hit a century of points as well, which is absolutely no mean feat. What an insane end to things. Manchester United did keep a clean sheet after all of that. So, despite the heroics, I suppose, in goal by Morrigan, I mean, it wasn't really... He didn't do a great deal, did he? Let's be honest. But say he did. Despite those heroics, it wouldn't have been enough in the grand scheme of things. And in fact, if we just have a look here... Premier League is going to wrap up. We complete the invincible season. I love the fact that the game recognises this. 100 points as well. The pick of the games was WorkTheSpace, guiding his Town team to an incredible unbeaten season following an emphatic 4-0 win against Norwich. Town lifted the Premier League title comfortably with 23 points separating them from Manchester United. It was a superb season for the Lawyers as they claimed their 3rd successive title to back up their pre-season credentials. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. What an insane season. You can see here the 6th Europa League spot hasn't been decided yet because we're playing Arsenal in the FA Cup who finished 10th. On the other side of things, not particularly great reading if you're a Norwich City fan. You can see here how the title wrapped up. Alvin John actually got to 24 clean sheets. Fair play. That may be better than Morrigan's record in the season. 6th player of the matches for Shvetsov was not enough to lead the way, but we did have the top 3 goal scorers in the competition. You can see here, Kaiser and Matasevic, 2 of the highest average ratings in the league and not far behind Mike Frost. For all the rubbish that gets slinged in Mike Frost's direction, make no mistake, he might not get all the goals or all the assists. He contributes absolutely massively to our success. And you can see across the board here, just the overall kind of trend is Town players left, right and centre. In terms of assists, you can see here Steve Norman finished outright top on 15, which was comfortably clear of 2nd place, which was shared. In behind them, you can see Matasevic in 4th. And special shout out to Sami Tunnell. Only 15 starts and 2 sub-appearances, so played less than half of the league games in the season. He managed to get 7 assists, which is nuts when you compare it to everyone else around him, many of whom had in excess of 30 games played in the season. Had a really, really good year there, and well, we've had a really, really good year, haven't we? What a sight the Premier League title is. I'm going to leave you with the table. Drink it in, enjoy it. I don't think we'll be doing this for a number of years in Football Manager. A crazy season, an immense squad, a World Club Championship to come up. Next season will be the FA Cup and end of season review. as I said, I think next season may well be the last. I'm not 100% decided on it yet, but I feel like one last dance, one last shot at a Champions League title is needed. But, I mean, make no mistake, this is becoming a dynasty. 3 Premier League titles in a row, comfortably the best team in England. I would love to put a rubber stamp on things and make ourselves the best team in the World Club Championship. If we just have a look, the World Club Cup, it's going to be starting in 29 days. So, yeah, get ready for that. I'm excited for it. You absolutely should be too. It's my first time ever playing in this competition. And well, it's going to be a bit of a venture into the unknown, to say the very least. But anyway, folks, that is all from me today. What an incredible season. The FA Cup to follow tomorrow. I hope to catch you guys for it. If you've got any thoughts on this season, on the players, on and off the pitch, let me know them down in the comments. And other than that, it is me, Jack. Thank you so much for your support on this series. As always, I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.